defeated Baylor was back in 2004. It's the first meeting between the Baylor Bears and the Colorado Buffaloes since 2011, and the tip is won by the home squad. Wearing the home yellow uniforms, they'll go from left to right. Colorado in the road black unis, they will go from right to left. Starting lineups coming nearby, and already Baylor making a point to get inside the paint against this Colorado team. That's a key for Nikki Collins.
Well, that was a great move by Bella Fauntleroy without the basketball, breaking into the paint, had the good shot, just could not knock it down. Interesting here today, Kyle, number 21 for Baylor, Nettie Vonleh, played and was the leading scorer for this Colorado team last year.
And already they go down low and attack that part of the paint as well. Jade Masagayo, one of the forwards, tabbed with replacing Nettie Vonleh at Colorado with the first bucket. So we take a look at the Baylor starting five.
Both ball clubs we look here, Walker, of course, Andrews, Littlepage, Buggs, Vonleh, and Fauntleroy. They've started all 14 games for Baylor this season.
Of course, we'll see Felder, our highlighted player, off the bench momentarily as Foreman tips this one out of play on the defensive end of the floor. Both teams like to get up and down. Baylor averaging 83 points per game, currently third in the Big 12, 1-1 in conference play, as Jim mentioned prior. Colorado 72 points per game, ninth in the Big 12 at the moment.
You can see, talking about defense, Colorado likes to pressure that pass one pass away, and did a nice job there. Weta almost getting the interception. Baylor cannot float the ball against this Colorado defense.
Weta, who was injured early in the non-conference slate but made her return for that upset victory over then number 14 West Virginia.
Yeah, Weta, who we see right there, number 15 defensively, she's third in the Big 12 in assists per game at 6.5 per outing.
Great defensive player as well. She was named Pac-12 All-Defensive Team honorable mention last year. Great passer on the offensive end, but plays both ways for this Colorado team.
Well, that was a nice job by Jada Walker for Baylor, just forcing that foul on Colorado. She's quick enough to get through the paint and draw the foul.
Now goes against Masagayo, first personal for either side. Outside for Andrews. She picked up the foot and walked with it.
Well, Sarah Andrews has a tendency to drag that pivot foot before she puts the ball on the hardwood. And officiating crew right on top of that one. Good crew here today. Felicia Grinner, Lisa Jones, and Nakisha Thompson.
Experienced Big 12 bunch in the stripes. Left side drive. Mid-range jumper off the mark from Garzone. Transfer from Oklahoma State. Baylor with the rebound. Best rebounding team statistically in the Big 12 so far, and it's coast to coast for Jada Walker to get the scoring underway for Baylor.
Well, Walker drew that foul for Baylor on the previous possession, just took it all the way once again. Great speed.
There's the vision from Weta. The pass tipped away. Masagayo had a look at the bucket, and a late whistle blocking foul called on Fauntleroy.
Well, that call brought the ire of Baylor coach Nikki Collins there. The call was made by the out official, not the one on the paint, but play goes on. This is going to be a physical game. Both these ball clubs like to play tough.
Of course, both teams very good in the rebounding category. Frida Foreman will not be held without a field goal in this matchup in the Lone Star State.
Well, not good defense by Sarah Andrews there. Foreman just took it right by her on what I call a straight line drive to the basket.
Vonleh desperately trying to keep the ball in bounds, looking for Andrews, but shoots it onto the baseline.
Well, a sloppy possession there. Two quick turnovers for Baylor now, finding themselves down 4-2 early.
Baylor has had some success in terms of taking care of the basketball this year, currently top 5 in the Big 12 in turnover margin. That was also a key this offseason. Nikki Collins wanted to take better care of the ball on the offensive side, but a couple early turnovers could play a factor. Colorado can take advantage. A wide open look down low, tip back up and in by Masagayo, her second make, and it's a couple possessions lead early for Colorado.
Oh, Colorado's doing exactly what Oklahoma State did, drive the ball to the basket on Baylor.
Fauntleroy's three off the mark. Another note about this Colorado team, they have some guards that are very active on the rebounding glass. They will try and limit possessions. J.R. Payne in her 9th season with Colorado, leading this team to their 3rd straight NCAA tournament appearance and a Sweet 16 berth last year.
Yeah, in fact, 2 consecutive Sweet 16 appearances. J.R. Payne has done a fabulous job for this Colorado program. Was at Santa Clara before that.
Of course, Colorado picked to finish 9th out of the 16 teams in a very tough and deep Big 12 field.
Yeah, Baylor preseason number 3.
Both teams right in the middle of the conference after a 1-1 start. Here's Dew. Her 3 rattles home. Colorado shooting well on the road to begin.
Well, Baylor saw Dew do that last year at Iowa State against this Baylor program. She's a terrific shooter. Baylor with their 3rd turnover there. A wild drive by Little Paige Buggs.
Amir Dew averages just over 6.5 a game. Sarah Rose Smith with the basketball, looking into the corner. Foreman will pull up from the wing extended. Guarded head up by Sarah Andrews. Kick back to Masagayo, tipped away by Andrews. Baylor forces the steal. Now Walker with the lone points on the floor right now, gives the Bugs, and she drives in for 2.
Well, at 6'2", Little Paige Buggs has great quickness, showed it right there, getting that right baseline.
That ends a 7-0 run for Colorado. Weta, who can shoot from the perimeter, overshoots this. Just 1 of 9 from the field this year to start, but they do give her the green light when open. Same for Andrews on the opposite side, looking for Baylor's first 3. Not going to happen on this possession.
Well, Sarah Andrews has taken by far the most 3s on this Baylor team. She fires it up quite often.
Dew can handle the rock as well as catch and shoot. Very versatile Colorado team. J.R. Payne talking about how that versatility really helps from a positionless standpoint when you play teams like Baylor that have an identity and you want to exploit it.
Absolutely. Once again, Colorado getting the offensive glass.
Second chance opportunity. Weta picked up the dribble. It'll go the other way. Baylor struggling from the field to start. Shooting just 30%. They've turned it over 4 times. Nikki Collin trying to get the Bears back in action. Here, head coach Nikki Collin had in mind being out-rebounded, outshot, and out-turnovered by a Colorado team at home.
Well, certainly she was anticipating a good start today. Has commented that their last 2 practices after that Oklahoma State shock had been very good, but so far they've been sloppy on the offensive end with 3 turnovers already in the first 5 minutes and 15 seconds of this game. So lots of time to get it turned around, but they have to play more solid fundamentally.
That was a 23-point setback against Oklahoma State, conference home opener on New Year's Day. It's the worst home loss in a conference game since Iowa State defeated the Bears 88-43 back in 1997. A long time ago since you've seen a game at home in conference play end with a result like that. Dew with a baseline drive, took it all the way to the cup.
Well, Dew just blew right by Bella Fauntleroy that time, and Kyla Abraham slow coming for the help. Nice play by Dew for Colorado. Transfer from Iowa State.
Elder has checked in. She drives to the elbow. Now down low to Bugs. Turn around. That one falls for the junior out of Oklahoma City.
Nice disciplined move by Little Paige Buggs that time. Good fake with the head, good fake with the ball. Nice finish, good shooter's roll.
She's become more and more of a prevalent scorer during her stint here in Waco. That confidence level growing. This one tipped, and now she has a turnover and draws the foul as well. Grace Oliver could not slow down, and the freshman has her first.
Now that's the 4th turnover. We're talking about Baylor having 3 turnovers early. That's the 4th one for the Buffaloes. Both teams a little skittish here handling the ball, but let's give credit to both teams' defenses so far. Have been a little bit pesky in those passing lanes and doing a nice job.
Felder met with a double team on the drive, still goes high off the glass. Tough shot, still gets it to fall.
Well, that's a Yaya Felder specialty there. She has great concentration in traffic, showed it on that possession.
How much balance does it take to take contact like that, fall away, and still kiss it high off the glass.
Well, we're going to have a chance to take a look at that. Watch this strength by Yaya Felder. She's picked up defensively by a much bigger player. That is concentration, strength, and body balance all combined to get that finish for Yaya Felder. She's been instant offense off the bench for Baylor both her years here in Waco.
Amir Dew, guarded by Fauntleroy. She will drive off the perimeter. Instead, back to Oliver. Kennedy Sanders in her first minute of action has it swatted by Little Paige Buggs. Baylor wants to run. Felder behind the defense, and there's a whistle underneath the basket. They're going to call a blocking foul off the ball, not on the shot. So Felder will have an inbound here, not any free throw.
Well, nice defensive reaction by Baylor to make this possession possible. Little Paige Buggs getting her 16th block of the year. She's third on this Baylor team in blocked shots, only behind Bella Fauntleroy and Kyla Abraham. She's very, very talented at coming from the offside to get the block.
Held under 10 points in each of her Big 12 appearances so far. At Kansas, against Oklahoma State. She's, like I talked about, a prevalent scorer though. 9 points, 11 rebounds. She averages 14 and a half a game as we take a look at the foul.
Yeah, Baylor very good on execution out of bounds under their own basket, and you can see Yaya Felder drawing that foul. How about that move by Little Paige Buggs? Should have had the finish. That's where the concentration and the toughness and the strength has to come in to get the finish.
Betson secures the rebound. Preseason freshman of the year in the Big 12. Foreman is checked back in. Overshoots on the way in. Felder, cross court to Fauntleroy. She'll drive to the baseline. Gets it to go.
Now that's a nice heads-up play by Bella Fauntleroy. Thought about taking the quick shot. Used that head fake. Got the baseline move. Bringing Baylor within one.
Part-time starter, reliable player over the last 3 seasons. And now a rebound to Andrews off the air ball.
Well, that's a rare miss by Garzone, one of the better pure shooters in the league.
Take a look at Fauntleroy's make down low.
Yeah, watch this. She normally would just jump up and take that shot, but read the defense perfectly, used that left hand on the baseline. Nice finish by Bella Fauntleroy.
And the Bears bench even thought there was contact through the shot attempt. And they've closed the gap with a quick 6-0 run of their own. Colorado looking for their first points in over 2.5 minutes. Foreman's the go-to mid-range. That one falls. That's her go-to spot.
Well, what a nice move. Use that left hand to get to the free throw line. Just jump up and over the Baylor defense.
He has a smooth shot attempt. So does Andrews on the opposite side. Baylor's first 3 of the afternoon.
Well, it brings the ball game tied. First time since the opening tip that we've been even.
Crowd starting to come to life as well on a Saturday afternoon inside Foster Pavilion. Pump fake, foul over the top. Too much from Kyla Abraham, and Betson will head to the strike.
Well, Kyla Abraham went for that head fake on the drive to the basket. Abraham getting a chance to play more minutes here this afternoon. Only played 2.5 against Oklahoma State earlier in the week. Bonlay, transfer from Colorado, back on. You mentioned this Tabitha Betson at the line, the preseason freshman of the year in the Big 12 conference. Been a lot of talk about the future of this lady. At 6'2", she has great size, and this is my first opportunity to see her in person, and she has got the label of a great pure shooter.
Started the first 3 games for Colorado during her collegiate career. She was a top 50 player in ESPN's Top 100. That's one thing that J.R. Payne has been very excited about, is the recruiting capability in Boulder, Colorado. Who wouldn't want to go and play Colorado basketball?
Absolutely, one of the most beautiful places in the country.
Also, not to mention the jump from the Pac-12 to the Big 12. And in terms of women's hoops, it's hard to get much better than the Big 12 depth as a conference. You've got 16 teams in any given day, any given game can be different along the way.
Well, there's so much depth in the Big 12 conference, and it's always tough. That was a good screen and roll to the basket by Vonleh. She's only hitting 59% of her free throws coming in. As much as she gets fouled, she really needs to improve on that area, as the entire Baylor team needs to improve from the free throw stripe, only hitting 66% on the year.
Vonleh now 28 free throws made out of 48 attempts. Like you said, under that 60% mark. The team has 66% entering the day, not where you want to be. Usually want to hang around that 73-74 mark. Final minute of the opening quarter. Colorado has controlled for the entirety of the frame. Baylor has not led. Step back, Foreman from three, well off the mark, but an offensive board for Tabitha underneath. Betson can't put it back up and in. And it's last touched out of play by Baylor.
That was really nice defense by Sarah Andrews on that last shot attempt by Foreman. Fought over the top of that pick and contested the shot well. Nikki Collin not at all happy with defensive rebounding right now. Have to get those kind of misses. J.R. Payne, what a competitor she is.
Cut off. Masagallo makes a crafty move and lays it in on the opposite side.
Masagallo, the only Texan on this Colorado Buffalo team from Mansfield, right outside of Fort Worth and Arlington.
Has some family in the building today. Just a short drive down, about 2 hours from the Dallas Metroplex.
Obviously, Baylor playing for the last shot, down by 3.
Outside for Felder, good look and a foul called. Foreman did not give room for Felder to land, and our two highlighted players collide for 3 free throws.
Well, that's the best indicator we'll ever see on what the emphasis of the Colorado scouting report is. Guard Felder tight on the three-pointer shots. She made 3 of her last 4. This young lady used to be titled a streak shooter, but she has become very, very consistent. Was the all-tournament team selection, and when Baylor played in the Bahamas tournament earlier this year, talking about three-point shooting, she made 9 of 13 threes in that tournament. So this young lady can fill it up.
She's had some big games in a Baylor uniform. Of course, transferring from Ohio, where she had a 40-point outing for the Bobcats. But then since transferring, she had her most points in a Baylor uniform so far. 20 is what she put up against Indiana earlier this year.
Yeah, she's had 16, 16, and 18 in her last 3 ball games. Had 16 on the road in Baylor's 20-point win to open conference.
She hits 2 out of 3. Just under 6 seconds remain in the opening quarter. Enough time for Colorado to set something up in the full court. Weta back to Betson. Betson has it swatted by Little Paige Buggs, and that is how the first quarter comes to an end.
Now Little Paige game.
Weta was a catalyst in that one. Here she is driving to the short corner. Her short jumper off the mark. Little Paige Buggs with the rebound.
A good block out by Little Paige Buggs.
And how about the feed ahead? Connecting to Nettie Vonleh, the former Colorado Buffalo, gives Baylor their first lead.
Well, great pass up the floor, but Vonleh did a nice job beating everybody 94 feet to get the easy basket. Let's take a look at that last long pass leading to the easy 2 for Vonleh. Jada Walker getting the pass up the floor. Terrific court vision right there by Jada Walker, the transfer from Kentucky, who was so prevalent in the playoffs last year for Baylor when they got to the Sweet 16, had 30 points in that victory over Virginia Tech in round of 32.
Walker, a senior out of Richmond, Virginia. She's a go-to scorer. She's scoring 12 points per game, but also the assist, 5.5 on average. They'll need her to step up in a big way throughout conference play as Dew knocks down both from the stripe.
Boy, Dew really playing well here early. Of course, she knows this Baylor team well after playing at Iowa State last year. Garzone, same way, playing at Oklahoma State. Those are finishes that Vonleh has to make.
Baylor scrapping for the loose basketball. Worked around for Fauntleroy. Her 3, drilled it out of the corner.
Well, so far, Bella Fauntleroy has not shot the ball well from three-point range this year. Maybe that will be the turning point right there. She needs to get her confidence going.
Under 30% on the year. That's her 29th make from downtown. Kept in bounds by Masagayo. She's been tremendous so far. This one blocked by Von Lay, but it's back to Colorado.
Nice reaction by Von Lay. Third block of the game for Baylor.
Only 2 to shoot. Colorado has to put it up at the last second. Well off the mark, never hit rim. And it'll go the other way.
Really a nice defensive job by Baylor that time, knowing that Garzone is a terrific three-point shooter, a great percentage shooter from the distance. Kyle, looking at this first quarter of action, I feel sure at that timeout between periods, Nikki Collins was talking about you've got to block out on the defensive boards. This Colorado team already has 5 offensive rebounds.
That's how you set up positioning under the bucket on the offensive end.
Absolutely, and what a great pass by Little Paige Buggs. High post to low post, tough to defend.
Outside to do, you mentioned her prevalence at Iowa State. Her career best was 25 points against this Baylor program back on February 4th of 2023, and then made the jump to Colorado as a graduate.
Nice pressure defense that time by Fauntleroy for Baylor. Yaya Felder, the spark plug off the pine for Baylor, coming back in to give Sarah Andrews a rest, the senior leader for Baylor.
Both of these coaches have spark plugs that are not in the starting lineup. Here's one and do. She'll turn, lofts it up. Too short off the front iron. Now a fight as Little Paige Buggs gets to the loose basketball. Numbers the other way for Baylor. Fauntleroy already hit 1 3 in the quarter, wide open, and does not hit this one.
Well, that was a good release by Fauntleroy. Usually when she gets her feet set, she gets in the net or very, very close.
Baylor started the game 2 of 7 from the field, but ended that first quarter 4 of their last 5, and that's how they've grown into a 4-point advantage. On the opposite side, Colorado, who started shooting at a high clip, has now shot just 32%. They've had some big-time misses.
Well, Baylor, got to give the Baylor defense credit now. They're pressuring the outside shots very well. Jada Walker, that quick first step of hers, very effective against the Colorado defense.
First season back in the Big 12 for the Colorado Buffaloes. They started the year great in non-conference play, 9-2, including a win over number 14 West Virginia, as we've mentioned a couple times. Coming off of a loss against a really talented TCU bunch. That's going to be a Horned Frog team that will challenge for the Big 12 title in their own right. But J.R. Payne has a lot of confidence across the board with her program. Back-to-back Sweet 16s. Now they jump into a deeper league as a whole. What do you want to see from Colorado in this season?
Well, right now in this game, they have got to start doing a better job of moving without the ball. Just as I'm thinking and saying that, that's exactly what happens. Masagayo making the nice cut. Colorado averages 37 points per game in the paint. You just saw why right there.
Masagayo with 8 points already, leading all Colorado scorers. That was the first make from the Buffs here in this second quarter. They started 0 for 5 from the field. Andrews pump fake. Outside, Little Paige Buggs, her 3. Too strong. Offensive board is there, but it did not hit the shot clock, or did it?
I think the roar of the crowd indicates that there's about 5,000 people thinks it did hit the rim. J.R. Payne, of course, encouraging her team to, well, right there, Little Paige Buggs, who has the green light to shoot the three, fired away. Vonleh was there for the offensive rebound. I believe they're going to say it did hit the rim.
If that's the case,
put
it was
20 seconds back on the clock. So
it was a clear rebound from Vonleh. However, I think they have to go by possession arrow because it's an inadvertent whistle. Baylor did have possession arrow, but it does not flip, so they'll keep it possession in terms of Baylor. Felder wrapped up, ripped away. Naimir Dew with the takeaway.
Really nice defense by Colorado, but how about Sarah Andrews getting back quick in transition D, covering the paint.
He returns the favor. Guarded by Betson, now gets the switch. Little Paige Buggs from the mid-range. Her 16-footer falls.
Well, that's a newfound success story for Little Paige Buggs. Last year, she probably wouldn't even have taken that shot, but worked hard to develop her perimeter game. Now 3 seconds in the lane right there. Baylor stymied Colorado's offensive attempt, and good defense continuing for Baylor. First several minutes of the game, Baylor's defense was not good, but they've adjusted quite well since then.
It's a welcome sight after Oklahoma State shot 77% from the field in the second half of that home opener in conference play for Baylor. Call a foul on Betson, just too much contact, fighting for that loose basketball.
Well, we knew this was going to be an aggressive game, Kyle, and certainly it is living up to what our thoughts were. Good on-ball defense that time by Weta. She is a terrific defensive player. You mentioned earlier, was on the all-defensive team, Pac-12 play. J.R. Payne, good look at her. 9th year as head coach of the Buffaloes.
You know, you mentioned her competitive spirit. You can tell that's the case. She's walking up and down. All that animation you see on the sideline, she's got a walking boot on her right leg, and she's still that animated. So you talk about competitive nature, there's one way to take a look.
Absolutely. She took a fall at her home about a month ago, and that's why she's in that boot. Never could get any confession about that she tripped over a dog, but that's what happened, I was told.
She was entered the pavilion today
on a scooter.
But then she ditches the scooter for gameplay.
Oh, good defense right there by Yaya Felder. All overdue on that possession, forcing the bad pass.
There's a look at the walking boot.
Yeah, good look.
It doesn't seem to hinder her movement very much.
You know,
definitely a pacer back and forth whenever she's coaching on the sideline for Colorado. 8 turnovers now for the Buffs as the Bears have ramped up the pressure on defense. Vonleh at the top of the key, resets to Felder into the corner. Baseline drive, takes contact, foul called against Dew. And Baylor will go back to the free throw line.
Very nice job by Yaya Felder. Instead of taking the quick shot, read the defense, saw the opportunity to drive and draw the foul. Heads up play by Felder, Baylor's leading scorer in their first 2 conference games.
Appears to be an emphasis in its own right, driving into the teeth of this Colorado defense. Dew with her second foul. We'll have to check out for a couple moments. Midway through the second quarter, you don't want to pick up that 3rd foul.
Well, Dew is
really limited.
So important to this team. At 6'2", she gives them great size on the perimeter.
Yaya Felder, during their time at Ohio, was all MAC second team back in 2023. And you mentioned her impact off of the bench both last year and now this season for Nikki Collins.
Well, she's just instant energy every time she comes on the floor. Now here's another interesting situation with this Baylor team. Aaliyah Matharu, transfer from the University of Florida, just became eligible at midterm. Be interesting to see how she adjusts in just her second time on the floor in this Baylor program.
She was Florida's leading scorer last season with over 570 points. Now on the defensive side, floater off the mark from Garzone.
Good block out by Vonleh that time for Baylor.
Andrews, step back. And Baylor goes all the way back to the logo. See how they get Matharu going early. She only made a free throw in her debut against Oklahoma State. We talked about her scoring ability as a double dribbles called against the Bears. 5'7", graduate guard, originally from Washington, D.C. Went to Florida after a couple of years with Mississippi State. She had plenty of time to grow in the SEC, and now she jumps to the Big 12 and expected to have a big impact off the bench.
That's what they're bringing her in for, and of course she was the second leading scorer in the Southeastern Conference last year, averaging 19 points per game.
Of course, Baylor down a guard with Van Geitenbeek out for the season.
And what a loss that was for Baylor. She probably was the heart and soul of this team.
Injured in the third quarter of the season opener. Torn ACL, out for the campaign, but that's
Junior
the one.
college All-American on the floor now for Baylor. Wise Jennings for her first appearance in 2 games.
Jennings, a junior out of New Zealand.
Yeah, she was a junior college All-American last year at Collin County Community College.
Look at the rebounds from Von Lay. Goes over the top of 3 Colorado jerseys to reel that one in. Keeps possession alive for Baylor. Off of the reset, shot clock, drive down low from Fauntleroy. She has 7 points.
Well, Baylor, the entire team doing a great job of attacking the glass with the drive against this Colorado Buffalo defense. That's the second bucket by Fauntleroy on the drive to the basket.
Under 3 minutes to go in the half. Into the corner, wide open 3. Garzone finds that stroke. She averages 12 a game.
Well, that's certainly no surprise. She's called the best pure shooter on this Buffalo team. Great ball movement for Colorado, getting it to her quickly in the corner.
That one tipped into the backcourt. Active defense from Sarah Rose Smith after the make.
Yeah, take a look at this. Great shot by Garzone out of the right corner. Matharu just a little slow getting out there, but good quick release by Garzone, who played at Oklahoma State last year.
Just the second 3-point make for Colorado. Baylor also 2 of 7 from the field. Both very even on the perimeter. Have some experienced shooters from outside that haven't had success so far. It's been all about the paint battle right now. Baylor winning that battle 16-14. This will go the other way.
Well, I think did they call a foul on Von Lay on that? Or did it signal that she knocked it out? The referee was holding up 2-1.
They did call it a foul on Nettie Von Lay.
Now, she fouled out of the last game for Baylor. In fact, she's fouled out of 3 contests this year. Baylor will certainly want to watch that statistic.
Former Pac-12 most improved player with this Colorado program. Long 3 off the mark from Foreman.
Good tough rebound by Bella Fauntleroy that time.
Walker, cross-court pass to the cutter. Fauntleroy lost her footing. Some contact from Sarah Rose Smith. Say if she was in the act of shooting or not. Was off balance all the way through. Never really had the feet planted.
Yeah, neither team fouling much here today. That was something that Nikki Collins said in their press conference yesterday. They had to be more disciplined in not fouling. Both teams with, well, Colorado now with 3 fouls in the second period, Baylor with 2. Of course, you know, with the new rule 7 years ago, 5th foul of the quarter results in 2 automatic free throws. So
it still takes some getting used to,
yeah,
Jim. You've been around it for a while.
That's why I say new rule 7 years ago. It's interesting to me that the men and women's rules are different in that category.
Very much so, too. Very different. Andrews fouled off the ball. What do you like better? Do you like the halves or do you like the quarters?
Well, I'm old school. I'm an old man, so I like the old school. I like the halves myself. But you know what? The quarters, it gives teams more time for strategy adjustment. There's pros and cons both ways. I shouldn't really react that way. I've learned to enjoy it, but I do like just the continuation of 2 halves.
Andrews off the inbound. Jennings, dribble handoff to Fauntleroy, and she's bumped again.
Well, Bella Fauntleroy doing a terrific job this afternoon of realizing the fact Colorado respects her outside shooting. They're guarding her extremely tight, so she's putting the ball on the floor and making things happen for the Baylor offense. She's going to go to the charity stripe here. Shockingly, if you look at her totals on the season, first of all, this will only be the 12th free throw she shot all year, but equally shocking, she's only made 4 out of 11 free throw attempts. She's a much, much better shooter than that. As they showed right there. It's all about the concentration and confidence. The 2 big C's at the free throw line, confidence and concentration.
It's been tough for Fauntleroy this year. Hasn't had the year she anticipated in terms of three-point percentage and free throw percentage, both of which under her normal marks, but it's still early in conference play. There's a lot of basketball left to happen. Offensive rebound for Colorado doesn't last very long. Garzone has it blocked and ripped away. Good defense in the post from Fauntleroy.
Fauntleroy leads this Baylor team in block shots. I believe she got another one there.
Look at the take down low, splitting a couple buff defenders for the 2. She's into double figures.
Now, 3rd driving basket of the game for Bella Fauntleroy, leading scorer in the contest.
Under a minute left in the first half. Weta left all alone from the top of the key. You cannot afford to leave her open. Not a go-to scorer like we talked about early. Mindset is on facilitating and playing good defense, but if you leave that much space, she's going to pull the trigger.
She's known as a really good shooter if she's got the time, and she did that time.
Here's some confidence from Fauntleroy, a heat check from the perimeter. Baylor holding on to a 6-point advantage. Got a 4-second difference between shot clock and game clock at the end of this second quarter.
Well, an interesting matchup now is Kyla Abraham in the game defensively for Baylor against Masagayo. This is a big matchup here with 12 seconds to go in the first half.
Weta just hit that 3. They give it to her on the dribble handoff. Corner, Oliver all the way back up top, running out of time. Long 3 from Tadair hits, and that's how the first half comes to a close.
Well, that's what you call perfect.
59 Bears win in Boulder back in 2011. Once again, glad you're with us here on a Saturday afternoon in Waco, Texas. Von Lay gets the basketball down low and quickly goes to the hoop for an and-one opportunity.
Now, it's the second time today you've seen Baylor have effective results from a high post to a low post pass. Hope we have a chance to see this again. Watch Little Paige Bugs bounce pass it into Von Lay in the paint on the block. Beautiful execution. Baylor was very patient on that first possession of this second half, and that was good strength by Von Lay to take it up for the 2 to give Baylor a 5-point advantage.
She does miss the free throw. However, Colorado, this is quick to note, that was their first foul, of course, of the second half. They had 11 fouls called against them in the first 2 quarters. Baylor with only 4. So at least at the moment, it appears the Buffs will see foul trouble much quicker than Baylor will. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, that was a big point of emphasis by Nikki Collin in her press conference. Great move inside that time. That was that, but Smith, that's right. Nice move inside, but big emphasis by Nikki Collin was they had to have discipline on defense and not foul too much. And who else? Jada Walker using that speed and quickness, just blowing by the Baylor defense, but just a terrific move there by Sarah Rose Smith. She's one of 3 returning players on this Buffalo team.
It's really her go-to move as well. A physical, tough rebounder and a driver as a guard. That's all over the scouting report. Baylor left some room. She took advantage. Same thing on the opposite side as Jada Walker takes it all the way inside. Ends up at the free throw line where she's had some success this year, shooting above 73%.
Yeah, she gets to the charity stripe a lot. She's had 52 coming into today's game and takes advantage, putting Baylor back up by 5.
Baylor did not have a lead for much of that first half. Colorado had the advantage, and there's a push-off. Sarah Rose Smith extends and knocks over Little Paige Bugs. That was a very obvious foul right in front of the official. That's her 3rd already.
Well, certainly, as in most conference games, fouls play a big part in the outcome, and can see right there, Smith just pushed Little Paige Bugs with both hands. Quite an obvious call. Baylor in their last game, Kyle, against Oklahoma State, only made one of their first 11 shots in that second half. Looks like they're going to do much better here today as we see Colorado going to a zone defense for the first time.
Yeah, this could provide a bit of a challenge. Good pass down low, all the way out to Walker. Extra pass to Andrews, who wants to drive, finds Little Paige Bugs. That was all about ball movement from the Bears.
And heads up play by Sarah Andrews. Drew two defenders in that zone setup for Colorado and just dished it off to Little Paige Bugs, who had the good hands to go back up. But nice play by Baylor's fifth-year senior star, Sarah Andrews, a preseason all-conference selection.
How about the recognition from Baylor to see the fact that Colorado works into the zone and then immediately says, okay, how do you beat the zone? By quick ball movement, having the ball continue to have life, and then also having a great chance to close down on a defensive possession. Little Paige Bugs, even though she hasn't lit up the scoreboard from a scoring standpoint, she's found her way in the box score quite a bit.
Well, she's moving very, very well today in all phases of the game. She and Bella Fauntleroy both much more active than they were in that shocking loss to Oklahoma State.
That's the third on Naimir Dew as well. So not only does Sarah Rose Smith have a spot on the bench right now, but with 3 fouls, but now Naimir Dew with her third. She'll remain in the game at the moment. Walker picked up quickly by Weta. Wide open baseline jumper. Little Paige Bugs is not going to miss from that spot on the floor very often.
Well, that's the second time today we've seen her face up where she would normally drive the ball to the bucket, just jumped up and drilled it. Nice recognition of the defense position by Little Paige Bugs.
Baylor outscoring Colorado 8-2 prior to that make from Foreman. That might be an emphasis from the Buffaloes. Get Foreman involved. She only has 6 points.
Oh, great pass inside. Good job by Von Lay holding her position against her old teammates right here. Von Lay, leading scorer for Colorado last year, making her place stand to try to be the leading scorer in this game today against her old team.
9 points on 4 of 6 shooting. This one off the hands and out of bounds. Kendall Weta can't hold on. Look at the passing here from Baylor.
How about that? Behind the back by Sarah Andrews, obviously away from the defense, and Little Paige Bugs drilling it. Perfect job by Von Lay holding her position, creating the open pass, entry pass, gets it done for
theme. Both Dew and Smith will be on the bench initially with 3 fouls. Weta, Masagayo, and Foreman all have a pair, where Baylor has not a single player on their entire roster with more than 1 foul. The total between the two teams, 15 fouls called against Colorado, only 5 for the Bears.
Well, in the last game, Baylor had 23 fouls against Oklahoma State, and as I've said twice already during this telecast, Nikki Collins said that had to be corrected, and it appears that is the situation today, as Colorado has 15 personal fouls to only, 4 or 5 for Baylor.
Baylor with the basketball, their largest lead of the afternoon, up by 9 at home. Baylor 8-1 in Waco this year. Colorado 2-2 on the road, including their most recent loss to number 11 TCU up in Fort Worth.
Well, Baylor continuing to do a nice job having patience, getting the ball to the high post. In each case, Little Paige Bugs, and her in turn trying to get it low to Eddie Von Lay.
Interesting.
Oh, Baylor, listen, we're just, 3 minutes and 8 seconds into this third period, and Baylor's already on the free throw line.
They continued.
5 team fouls in 1 quarter leads to the 2 free throws, and that is very, very quick to get there.
Especially as quick as those whistles have become a thing against Colorado. Might see more and more free throw attempts for Baylor. Now 3 Buffaloes with a triple of fouls. Masagayo adds to the list of Smith and Dew. Masagayo turn around, and now she's fouled by Von Lay.
Well, Baylor had a 3-point lead at the half. Have increased that margin by 8 here quickly in the third period. Nice job by Masagayo breaking quickly across the paint. Take a look right here as Von Lay bumps her low. Did a good job of keeping her hands and arms straight up, but bumped her with the lower body. And Masagayo mentioned, the lone Texan on this team. Leading scorer against TCU last week.
They also win 90% from the field in that win against West Virginia. 9 of 10 from the field, averaged 8.5 points, 4.5 rebounds at Missouri State last year. Led the team in blocks as well. Transfer from the MVC. Freshman of the year, actually, in 2023. Walker back outside for Fauntleroy. This shot off the mark. Tipped around, rebound secured by Grace Oliver. Colorado's going to need somebody to step up in a scoring factor, whether that's Foreman, whether that's Weta, maybe it's Garzone. Either way, they need somebody to find the bottom of the net and do so effectively.
Well, what Baylor has improved on during the course of this game is blocking out, not giving them easy offensive rebounds. But right there, Weta making the great move on the baseline, bringing the Buffaloes back to within 7.
That's the point-blank opportunity Colorado's been looking for.
Yeah, 4 straight points for Colorado now after Baylor had raised the advantage to 11.
Baylor made their first 4 shots from the field, and now Fauntleroy's called for the travel. Tried to split through a pair of Colorado defenders. He did so earlier for a bucket. This time it's a turnover.
That was a nice defensive effort by the Buffaloes that time. Did not reach on that penetrating move by Fauntleroy.
Baylor shooting 55% from the field. That's a much better clip than what they shot against Oklahoma State.
Only 32% in that game.
And even in the first quarter. First quarter they were held underneath 40%. Step back from Dew. Off the mark this time. Offensive rebound. Tracked down into the corner by Oliver. Second chance for Colorado.
Yeah, just when I said Baylor was doing a better job of blocking out on the defensive boards, Colorado comes back with a quick one.
Weta to Foreman. Plenty of time off of the pump fake and a rare miss from the top of the key. They go right back to her.
Yeah, 2 straight offensive rebounds for Colorado, giving them 3 attempts on this possession.
Foreman step back. Now she's in rhythm, but too strong on this occasion. Another offensive board and a putback with the foul. Grace Oliver doing it all herself on this trip.
Well, I think I'm going to take that back. I said Baylor doing a better job on the defensive boards. Not so on that offensive possession by Colorado. Great effort by the Buffaloes, pulling them back within 5. Baylor worked hard in practice to block out against this strong offensive rebounding Colorado team. Baylor had done it quite well in the second period and early going of this third period, but not so much there. Colorado now has a chance to cut this lead back to 3 points after Baylor had expanded it to 11, all because of the offensive rebounding by the Buffaloes. There's
go again. Another offensive rebound, and this time it's Dew that secures it. Possession arrow will keep it with the Buffaloes. After the tie ball, it'll baseline out from Colorado. Baylor has a scoring drought of just over 2 minutes. I feel like most of that has been on this one possession.
Well, Colorado's had it now for a long time on this one possession because of all those offensive rebounds. And
how about another one? 5 offensive boards on this one possession. Colorado playing keep away right now from Baylor, but can they connect on a bucket? That's been the one bugaboo right now from the Buffs.
You know, Colorado now 4 of 14 on 3-point shots. This is a bad matchup right here, but I think they're going to give Foreman for the push-off, didn't they, on Vonleh, who stepped to help. I said that looked like a bad matchup, but turned out to be in favor of the Bears.
That was a big break because, like you said, Foreman up top, and the only defender there for Baylor was Vonleh. Foul is called on Johnson. It's her first. Vonleh gets around Foreman this time, all the way to the basket. Missed the wide open lay-in. This one tipped back around. Fauntleroy picked it up, but then is stripped by Weta.
Boy, what great hands by Weta there as Fauntleroy started her move to the basket. Quickly, Vonleh picking up 2 fouls here in the third period.
That was her trouble against Oklahoma State, fouled out.
Yeah, no, she's now got 3 in the ball game. She has fouled out 3 times this year for Baylor.
Puts Johnson at the line, the transfer from Minnesota. 59% from the stripe. Played in 31 games last year with the Gophers, which is just under 5.5.
Kyle, let me remind you of something here. This Colorado team was down 16 to West Virginia in the 3rd period and came back and beat the number 14 team in the nation. Baylor held an 11-point lead 3 minutes ago. Let's watch this closely. Baylor's had to make some substitutions.
If it wasn't for a couple missed free throws, that free throw would have been to cut it to 1.
Yaya Felder back on the floor now for Baylor. Felder, who we mentioned, had 16 points in both first 2 conference games, has 6 so far here today.
Madison Bartley also checks in, a graduate transfer from Belmont. First minute of the ball game for her. Little Paige Bugs in the fold as well. Here goes Andrews on the drive, too strong. Had a wide open lane, nobody in the paint guarding for Colorado, but it's a missed lay-in, and now Weta wants to take it coast to coast. Her miss from point-blank range.
Well, Sarah Andrews missed a full court wide open layup against Oklahoma State. Here, Yaya Felder, Baylor's most consistent offensive player the last couple of games, coming back with another miss.
Neither team can buy a bucket from the field. Most of the production has come from the free throw line. Here's another one, out of bounds. Baylor could not find an outlet pass. Fauntleroy with the rebound, but she steps out. It's back to Colorado.
Game continuing to get more physical as we progress. Baylor had an 11-point advantage 3 minutes ago. Now it's down to 4 with Colorado owning the basketball under their own basket.
Baylor has missed their last 4 shots from the field, but Colorado not much better. 1 of their last 7. Foreman off the inbound. They get it to Masigayo, who draws the foul from Bartley. Bartley enters the game, replacing Von Lay, who has to sit with 3 fouls.
Great coaching, great floor leadership by Colorado right there, recognizing that Bartley on the floor for Baylor, not near as athletic, not near as quick on her reaction, immediately attacking her with Masigayo, and she now goes to the line.
Very active today, 10 points. Now up to 11. She had 14 points and 6 rebounds. The leading scorer against that TCU team up in Fort Worth. Missed the second, rebound to Walker. Smallest guard on the floor gets the board for the Bears. To Felder. Drive outside, Walker sets up from 3-point land. It rattles in with the harm.
Well, when Jada Walker gets set, Kyle, she is a very, very good 3-point shooter. Most teams do not guard her that way. They drop off to stop the drive, but there, under control, she pulls up and hits a very, very important shot for Baylor to push the lead back up to 6.
The foul is away from the basketball. Look at the baseline. That was Kendall Weta, who got tangled up with Fauntleroy. So that will be a 3. The bucket does count, but then you get 2 free throws because of that extra foul away from the ball for Fauntleroy. This has a chance to be a 5-point possession. Well, Fauntleroy can hit the second free throw.
Jada Walker, who made the all-important 3 for Baylor, regaining momentum, is a 42% 3-point shooter. You don't think of her as that. You think of her as a driver to the bucket and a pull-up shooter. But Bella Fauntleroy, who had her troubles at this charity stripe earlier in the year, hitting big ones here for Baylor.
That's one way to end a 7-0 Colorado run with a 5-point play for Baylor on their offensive end. I didn't even know that was possible. Here you go. Now a takeaway. Fauntleroy jumps in the passing lane all alone for the fast break lay-in.
Bella Fauntleroy just terrific here this afternoon after a disappointing performance against Oklahoma State. Doing her thing for the Bears. How about this defense? Jumping up, 1 pass away into the passing lane, putting the Bears up by 10.
tying her season high with 15 points. We've still got 2.5 left to play in the third. Crowd has come alive. A quick 7-0 run and an answer for the Bears, who were once up by 11. Colorado closed the gap to 47-44, but not for long.
Well, a game of spurts here in the third quarter. Baylor spurted first, Colorado spurted second, and now Baylor coming right back with another spurt to go back up by 10, almost matching their biggest lead of the game.
What do you feel like the message is from the Colorado bench right now? J.R. Payne, they had worked their way back into this game without some of their key contributors. Smith on the bench with 3 fouls. Masagayo having to play from a timid standpoint. And then you've got Naimir Dew with 3 fouls as well. They get all the way back to a possession, and then it happens like that. Snap of the fingers.
I think probably 2 things were said in that timeout. Look, we've got 12 turnovers. We can't win this game with many more. And also, you've got a less athletic Madison Bartley on the floor guarding the bigs for Colorado. Let's attack that position. Bartley's strong. Bartley is very sound, but doesn't move as quickly as, for example, Abraham does.
Foreman guarded by Felder, and she picked up the pivot foot.
Well, there's another one of those turnovers, number 13 for Colorado. Remember the last basket by Baylor off of a turnover with Bella Fauntleroy stepping into the passing lane. Good look at J.R. Payne, the highly successful head coach for the Buffaloes.
Fauntleroy, full head of steam all the way to the basket, missed it. Little Paige Bugs is there to clean up on the offensive glass. Baylor with their largest advantage.
Well, using her quickness and her 6'2" height to get it done there. Good offensive rebound. Baylor turning right back against Colorado. Colorado hurt Baylor offensive boards. That time Baylor doing it back.
Foreman on the drive. It was blocked by Felder. Here's a look at it.
Nice job by Felder reacting there.
Will stay with the Buffs.
Now Garzone throwing it in for Colorado.
Have to keep an eye on her. And now a whistle off the ball. That'll go against Walker.
Well, Walker was thinking they were going to get the push off against Colorado. Weta had her forearm out there, but that was the right call by this officiating crew. Good job, Felicia Grinner, Lisa Jones, and Nakisha Thompson. All 3 veterans of NCAA playoff basketball.
With that foul, it puts Colorado in the bonus for these final minute and 53 seconds of the third quarter. Weta will go to the stripe, 62% on the season.
Well, Baylor, after having only 4 personal fouls in the entire first half, now have 5 here in the third period alone with 1:53 to go.
Of course, this Colorado team knows how to come from behind in Big 12 play. They erased a 16-point deficit against West Virginia in the conference opener, top 15 team in the country, and now on the road against Baylor in a tough situation after they had already closed the gap quite a bit. Felder's 3 off the mark. Little Paige Bugs with another offensive rebound, but then it's blocked and picked up by Colorado. Dare finds Weta, now to Masagayo, and a push-off called against Bartley on the baseline. Baylor does not like the whistle.
Well, that's got to be done. You got to get over there and cut that baseline off first and foremost. Madison Bartley smiling, thinking that she got there, but definitely a bump down low. Masagayo, very active post player for this Colorado team.
She has an elite first step. You can see that off of her scoring today. Has struggled from the free throw line here in this third quarter. 11 points on the board, but she's missed a trio of free throws.
It's 10 out of 15 now for Colorado. Baylor, who's had trouble at the charity stripe all year, has hit a very impressive 13 of 16. There's
another miss from the stripe, but a foul called off the ball. It'll stay with the Baylor Bears.
You heard that roar. That's all about the cupcakes. Opponent misses 2 in a row here. They chipping Joanna Gaines at Magnolia gives the students or whoever is sitting over there free cupcakes.
See, and we just got handed some cupcakes as well at the broadcast booth. How about that?
Yeah, we're lucky.
I love calling games here in Waco. This is great.
It'll fatten you up, partner.
Absolutely. Got some vanilla and some chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Got the choice here. Yeah. There you see, waiting to check in, Arnett Von Lay.
Yeah, Madison Bartley going to the charity stripe for Baylor. She comes in as a 80% free throw shooter, the highest percentage free throw maker for this Baylor team. Transfer from Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee. She was an all Missouri Valley Conference performer, but she was hitting 80%. That's the mighty hex when you start bragging on a free throw shooter.
That one's on you, Jim.
Oh, unfortunately for Madison Bartley.
She does hit the second, and here comes Von Lay.
Yeah, back in with 3 fouls now. I wouldn't be surprised to see him try to get the ball to Masagallo quickly. Try to pick up another foul on Von Lay.
Also checking back in with 3 fouls is Sarah Rose Smith for Colorado. Foreman takes a break. Masagallo on the elbow. Both players with 3 fouls, so keep that in mind too. Ripped away. And it will be Baylor basketball. Walker on the fast break, gives to Andrews in the corner. Now they reset up top for Felder. Good play in transition. The steal secured by Von Lay. Then a battle for the loose ball, ended up with Jada Walker. Von Lay, kick to Andrews. Tried to fit it in a tight window, and it's a turnover.
Yeah, that's not their smart play when you got to step open to the bucket and try to shovel it off. Sarah Andrews is strong enough to make that play, but tried to get the bounce pass in the paint. How about that? 2 possessions in a row by Colorado, and their former teammate, Von Lay, comes away with the steal.
It's almost like she knows the playbook or something from J.R. Payne. 2 steals from the forward as she checks back in. All the way back at half court. Baylor okay, holding for the final shot of the third. Sarah Andrews, the ball movement. Now she works off a screen. Thought about the 3. Hesitates, drives, takes it all the way in with a right-handed finish.
Yeah, Andrews had only had 3 points coming into that shot attempt, but made a big one, putting Baylor up. Minutes of any player on the floor. She's been on the floor 26 minutes of the 30, more than anybody for either team.
Oh, and a turnover to start the 4th quarter. Frida Foreman creates a bit of confusion between Little Paige Buggs and Sarah Andrews, and that's how the 4th frame will get underway.
Well, you can never relax against a smart team like Colorado. That was just a silly mistake there.
Von Lay lofts it up and in off the floater on the baseline.
Well, that was a nice move. She read the defense. Colorado's got Ayana Johnson in defensively right now, or in the ball game, and Von Lay read the defense perfectly.
And now Foreman fouled by Andrews right in front of the Colorado bench.
Yeah, just a silly foul there with a 13-point lead, 9:25 to go. You do not want to put the opponent into the automatic 2 free throw situation.
Second foul for Andrews. Alongside Jim Howler, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us. Saturday afternoon Big 12 action from Foster Pavilion in Waco, Texas. Right on the banks of the Brazos. Downtown Waco. Brand new facility. Just turned a year old this past week. Turnaround, Foreman in the paint. Missed it. Johnson had a shot at the rebound, but whips as she elevates to the rim.
Well, Baylor was lucky right there. Colorado had a chance for their 14th offensive rebound of this game. Let it slip right through their hands.
Leads to a 3-point try on the opposite side for Sarah Andrews. Her second make from downtown, and the Irving, Texas native has Baylor back up by 16.
She only had 3 points right before the end of the 3rd period. Now she's got 5 quick ones, giving her 8 for the game.
To Dare, back to Johnson, faced with Little Paige. Buggs goes through contact, and Johnson has a chance at the and one.
Well, what a nice play by Johnson, using her 6'4" body to great advantage right here, just over Little Paige Buggs, and good strong finish, nice concentration. Sophomore transfer from the University of Minnesota. She's just a sophomore. She's got a bright future in this conference with her size and showing her dexterity right there.
6'3", tons of athleticism. You can see it there. Goes one-on-one with one of the best post players in the conference with Little Paige Bucks and what she can do down low.
Now Bella Fauntleroy looking for a double-double, her 6th rebound of the game to go with 15 points.
Vonleh, crafty move on Johnson and kisses it off the glass. 15 points for the former Buff.
Well, and this is the best game I've seen Vonleh play. She's obviously inspired going up against her former head coach, who, I'll say this, before the game, I saw Coach Payne come out, Vonleh go down, they shared a big hug. It was heartwarming to me. That's what sportsmanship is all about. The old coach and the former player, no animosity. That's just the rules of the new game.
No doubt. Of course, these two teams will play again later in the season as Baylor makes the trip to Boulder for the first time since 2011. Little Paige Bugs, offensive board all the way back up to the rim. Can't make it, but then it's poked away. Vonleh now misses a point-blank opportunity. Both Little Paige Bugs and Vonleh had a wide-open look at the basket, but Colorado, the benefactor of a stop.
Now Baylor obviously had the easy opportunity to go up by 18. Remember, this Colorado team came from 16 down to beat number 14 West Virginia last week.
Nymir Dew back in the ball game working with 3 fouls. Fauntleroy can't hold on to the rebound, out of play, stays with the Buffaloes.
Little Paige Bugs is 1 rebound away from her 7th double-double of the year, 12 points and 9 rebounds. Little Paige Bugs for Baylor, 2nd in the entire Big 12 conference with double-doubles. I mentioned currently has 6.
She's the current leader in the conference in terms of rebounds per game. That's why a performance like this from Colorado on the offensive glass is so impressive, because you have Little Paige Bugs, who's the league leader in rebounds, and yet they're still leading in that category, both on the offensive glass and total rebounds, up now 25-27 in that category.
Another nice drive by Bella Fauntleroy that time. Little Paige Bugs going to the glass, but now Colorado a chance to cut this down to 12. They were down by 16.
Couple of stops here. This is how a run begins for a team like Colorado, and they have their best scorer on the bench right now. Foreman taking some much needed and much earned minutes off. Garzone to the cutter and Johnson, and she draws a foul.
Well, Baylor, as they have been the entire game, staying half-court man-to-man defense. A nice ball movement, nice screen, nice break to the basket that time. Good execution by Colorado. Johnson is coming in here late and making a big impact with her size for Colorado.
Yaya Felder will check in for Andrews. Boy, that's a weapon for Nikki Collins. The ability to sub out one playmaking guard and Andrews for another one in Felder.
Well, Felder's just so explosive. Sarah Andrews with the great experience. Leader of this Baylor team, obviously.
Offensive board back to Dew. Garzone. Offensive board for Dew again, off balance on the lay-in opportunity, tipped out of play. And now it'll go to Baylor. You can see the effort there.
Well, Colorado continues to do just a fabulous job of crashing the offensive glass. I'm really impressed, very impressed. And Baylor's letting them actually push them up under the basket, giving Colorado the chance for the putbacks.
They are more than doubling up Baylor on the offensive glass. 15 offensive boards to just 7. Unfortunately for Colorado, they haven't taken full advantage. There's a takeaway. They only have 10 points off those second chance opportunities. What a pass down low, and the bucket will not count. They'll call it on the floor.
Now Bartley got caught behind there, just does not have the quickness or the athleticism to get around there and prevent that quick entry pass. Bartley strong, but got to move those feet. 3rd team foul here in the 4th period for Baylor. Colorado has 1.
Kind of an unfortunate break for Colorado. That pass was so good that Andrews that Johnson was so wide open at the lane. If that foul was not called, it would have been an easy two.
Absolutely. That time Bartley did a good job with her strength of holding her position and did not let Johnson push her back up in under the bucket. Was there for the foul call.
Little Paige Buggs blocked by Oliver.
Oh, what a nice defensive play by Oliver. That's hard to do against Little Paige Buggs with her size and her quickness, going hard to the rack like that.
6'1" freshman out of Massachusetts. How about that for a switch? You go from Massachusetts to Boulder, Colorado. This ball wide open, nobody there, and what a heady play from Yaya Felder. Knew she couldn't pick it up for fear of a double dribble. Box out, kept the possession alive for Little Paige Buggs to take advantage. She's got a dozen.
How much more effective is Little Paige Buggs when she can knock that face-up shot down? She's done it 3 times today. Makes her a much more dangerous offensive threat.
Baylor keeping Colorado at arm's length. There's a travel. Easy, happy feed into the corner. No chance for Garzone to put up a shot.
Yeah, nice job by Madison Bartley coming out under control there. And Colorado just shuffled the feet trying to attack her.
This would be a big rebound win for Baylor after they fell by 23 at home to Oklahoma State.
Well, there's still 5.5 minutes to go in this game, Kyle. This Colorado team, very dangerous, can hurt you in a lot of ways.
The Paige Buggs again, this time from just inside the three-point line. That mid-range jumper has been there.
Boy, she has got her confidence going, and it's nice to see. She's worked hard on developing that face-up shot.
And now she has a takeaway for a quick moment. Masagayo steals it back. First point in conference play, rather, for Little Paige Buggs with at least 10. Foreman picks it up, no foul, and they're going to have a wide open bucket down low.
The referee is signaling a flop call right there. Didn't penalize Baylor on it, but said no foul, just too easy of a bump, and she went down.
I like the no call on that.
Yeah, I definitely do.
That is a flop warning, so if it does happen again, then Baylor would be penalized by a foul call and whatever that turns into a bonus situation.
Very, very aggressive game.
Nikki Collins, Baylor Bears leading by 15 with 4:22 left. Here's what they have upcoming on the Big 12 slate. At Arizona State, a 1-2 punch down in the AZ, and then you get back for a pair against Utah, team that's receiving votes in the AP Top 25 poll right now. And then Houston right back here in Waco before taking on that UCLA team that has a pretty high ranking right now.
Yeah, of course.
High ranking of number one.
Number one, and what an honor that is, being the Coretta Scott King Classic. And I believe that's in Brooklyn or New Jersey, somewhere up in the New York area. But it's quite an honor to be picked. Texas will play Maryland also in that doubleheader that day.
It's in Newark, New Jersey.
Newark was close to New York City, but quite an honor to be picked to play in that game.
How about that 1-2 punch, though? You've got those 2 games, Utah and Houston. UCLA is the number 1 team currently in the country. But then right after that, within a week, Baylor then travels to Fort Worth to take on TCU on the road. The first of 2 meetings with the currently top 12 ranked Horned Frogs.
Well, and that's interesting. That TCU game will bring on the 2 players pitting them each other that were the preseason newcomers of the year. Haley Van Lith for TCU, who comes from LSU after having been at Louisville. Of course, Baylor, the co-newcomer of the year in the league, Nettie Vonleh, who, of course, played at Colorado last year. So she played in the Pac-12. So even though Colorado's in the Big 12 this year, Vonleh's new into the conference. You get me?
Kind of interesting. You could name the whole Colorado team as newcomer of the year. Here goes Vonleh. She has 15 points, but gives it back to her former teammate and Frida Foreman.
Well, nice job by Foreman there, jumping into that passing lane, knowing that Vonleh was going to kick it back out.
Final 4 minutes. Colorado now not only having to cut the gap, but also do so in a speedy manner, working against the clock. Dew, who's hit a 3 already today, misses
nice.
this one from straightaway range.
Great block out for Bella Fauntleroy that time. Baylor had their 15th turnover of the contest on that last possession. Got to do better than that to protect this lead with 3.5 minutes to go.
Walker off the screen from Von Lay. Back up top, all sorts of time, and her shot attempt is off the mark. How about Walker fighting for the board underneath the bucket and then takes the foul. They call it on Dew, that's number 4 on the graduate transfer.
Well, there's not a feistier player on the floor than Jada Walker. She may be the smallest, but I'll guarantee you there is nobody that fights harder. She's so quick, she creates havoc for the opponent.
A tremendous play underneath. We talked about her rebounding ability even at 5'7". She has 4 boards in this one. Now they find her at the top of the key. Bumped by Weta. Now a screen from Von Lay, setting up Walker from the free throw line, and she connects.
Well, you remember early in the third period, Jada Walker hit that 3-point shot. Here she's coming back with 2 more critical points to put Baylor up by 17.
Under 3 to play. Foreman, nice pick and roll down low. That was executed to perfection to Masagayo, who has 13 points.
Well, Masagayo set the great screen and then rolled hard to the basket. Nice execution by the Buffaloes. This is a good team. Baylor's played very well here today. Looks like what should be a victory.
Only 2 Colorado players into double figures. That's Foreman with 10. Masagayo leading the way at 13 as the foul is called underneath. Baylor back to the free throw line. Also another positive from the Bears as they've hit 14 of 18 from the stripe.
Yeah, and another positive note, if Sarah Andrews can make 2 free throws here, that'll give all 5 starters double-figure scoring, and that always looks good.
Wow. And against a team like this, that's an impressive feat. Foul on Oliver, that's her 4th.
Yeah, Baylor didn't even hit 50% from the free throw line against Oklahoma State, but as you mentioned, Kyle, a different story here this afternoon. Now that Baylor now has 5 players in double-figure scoring, 2 for Colorado.
You've got all 5 starters, like you said, into double figures, where Foreman is one of just 2.
There you go. Little Paige Buggs now with her 7th double-double of the season. Rebound number 10. 16 points.
Can you tell that this Baylor team seems re-energized after that loss at home to Oklahoma State? You could tell Nikki Collin was not happy with how that one unfolded. Felt like that was not the team that she had employed going into the year. And now they've rebounded in a big way against the team that enters at 10-3. That's on the verge of working into these polls in their own right. The AP and the coaches poll.
Well, I think another word for Baylor showing here today is determined. They came out here looking like they were determined to win this game. And of course, this was really much more must-win for Baylor because it is a home game. And knowing they've got to go on the road now to Arizona and Arizona State back-to-back.
We mentioned Colorado coming off of that game in Fort Worth. They've spent some time here in the Lone Star State. It appears they will go 0 for 2 against TCU, and Baylor played TCU really tough on New Year's Day, a top 12 team in the country, and they fell by 13, but really that was a tighter game than the score indicated. Not so much here in Waco. Baylor has dominated this matchup. Colorado got off to a great start, led by 1 at the end of the first, but since then it's been all Bears. As Nikki Collins' squad now full-fledged substitutions across the board get an opportunity to see some quality minutes in Big 12 play from some of their players deeper on that bench.
Yeah, Matharu, the transfer from Florida, back on the floor for Baylor. Also got Kayla Nelms on the floor for the first time for Baylor, the highly recruited freshman out of Miami, Florida. And Wise Jennings, the junior college transfer, back on the floor along with Kyla Abraham. So 4 new faces on the floor all of a sudden for the Bears as Dew continues her impressive performance.
What does that tell you about the fact that you have Jada Walker still on the floor, a veteran, been around this team for a couple of seasons now, elite scorer, elite facilitator? You put 4 new faces on the floor but you still want Walker to help facilitate from there and tie it all together.
Yeah, and she's still the bread and butter point guard. Sarah Andrews plays the point also, but is now more shifted to the wing position for Baylor, with Jada Walker establishing herself.
Matharu back out to Walker, looking for the assist off the three, missed it. Abraham fighting for the board, and she has a whistle. Timeout called by Baylor. Nikki Collin wants to run the set with 1:13 remaining. Would be interesting to see Matharu and how she can get going. Has not made a field goal in a Baylor uniform. Did hit a free throw last time out. But we talked about Baylor taking care of business at home. Colorado will get the opportunity to do so against UCF coming up this week, and then against Kansas at home as they return back to the CU Event Center in Boulder.
Well, this Colorado team, believe me, there's a lot of victories ahead for this ball club. I like this team a lot. I like what Coach J.R. Payne has done with the ball club. Going home to play UCF, and all goes as it should. They should easily win that game. Kansas be a little bit more of a challenge, but good look at J.R. Payne. I love her name. Have you heard this story? Her name is really not J.R.
Okay.
Her name is really Lil Marie. Her dad started calling her J.R. because she's tough, like J.R. Ewing was in Dallas. How about that?
That's outstanding.
That is a true story. And
How cool.
She said, I just love stories like that. So,
well, you take a look at what she's done now, 9 seasons in Boulder. Before her arrival, there was only one NCAA tournament appearance from 2004. That was in 2013. She's made it 3 straight years, back-to-back appearances in the Sweet 16. You cannot discount what she has done and started to build in Colorado.
Well, and what you got to remember, Kyle, 10 newcomers on the floor here. They're just going to continue to get better and better. I'm still amazed they were able to beat West Virginia like they did.
And they'll have some more wins like that along the way.
Yeah.
Just a tough one today against the Baylor team that, like you said, entered with a mentality that they were not going to take no for an answer in this one.
Well, compliments to Nikki Collin and her staff for the way they did come back here today. That's tough after you get a disappointing home court loss like they did against Oklahoma State.
Abraham put it back up after the offensive rebound. Misses short. Baylor will fall short of their season average of 83 points per game, but they hold Colorado more than a dozen points under their season
I was just gonna say Baylor did a really nice job on the defensive end. This Colorado team averages over 71 a game, and Baylor has evidently held them to 62 right now with 17 ticks to go.
Still 9 points under their average.
Yeah.
Good day overall for the Baylor Bears. They'll call over and back as Walker had to catch her footing. So Colorado will have an opportunity at one more bucket on the road before they return back to Boulder. At 1-2 in Big 12 play, they'll fall to 10-4 overall in the 2024-25 season. Steal for Baylor, picked up by Jennings. The reigning JUCO Player of the Year misses on the turnaround jumper, and that will do it. The Baylor Bears get back on track. They win this one, 76-62 the final in Waco.
Well, certainly an impressive outing for Baylor.